What is up, guys? It's time for an all-new Procreate brush pack. That's right, my new fur brush pack for Procreate is available starting right now today. In this video, we're going to cover some of the brushes you get, some of the techniques you can use, and some of the results that you can achieve. But first, what's in the pack? You get 25 custom-made fur brushes for Procreate, along with a 3-part exclusive video tutorial series that walks you through how to get the most out of the brushes. The first video is an introduction to the brushes, where we take a deep dive into the Brush Studio settings, allowing you to take total manual control over the brushes and really dial in the final results that you're looking to achieve. In video 2, I walk you through a full step-by-step real-time tutorial on how to draw a cute fuzzy hamster like you see here. I break down everything that I'm doing on screen so you're able to follow along from start to finish to make your very own hamster. And then finally in video 3, we'll use some other brushes and other techniques to make this cute furry monster, once again, all in real time, step by step. 3 videos and over an hour and a half worth of content to get you started in the right direction with your new brushes. It's all available right now on Gumroad. I'll leave the link down in the description, the brushes and the tutorials for the low price of only $7. So let's jump into Procreate and take a look at the brushes. So for the introduction to these brushes, I'm using a 3000 by 3000 300 EPI canvas. It's an RGB canvas. Now this is not a tutorial per se, it's just gonna walk you through some of the techniques and some of the results that you can achieve. But if you do wanna follow along with this, you have purchased the brushes. I do have the color palette for this pre-made, so if you wanna download this for free, you can head over to my website, BeeJayDeL.com. Underneath the YouTube reference materials page, which I'll link it down in the description below, and you can find that and follow along with the same colors that I'm using. So let's open up the brush library here, and you can see we've got 25 different fur brushes. 1 through 17 are basically fur textures. Then once we get down to 18 through 25, these are different strand brushes. So with this video, I'm just gonna walk you through a few. So it's not gonna showcase everything, but as you can see, I designed these brushes with a lot of variety, so you can achieve a lot of different results based on what you're wanting the end design to look like. So let's start out with brush number 1 here. I'm gonna go ahead and change the color here to this first reddish orange color. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make just a big rectangle here. You can kind of see the fur texture I'm getting. Now if I press harder, you're gonna see I get more of a texture in there. Pressing lighter, I get less of a texture. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and I'm gonna alpha lock this layer. I'll alpha lock that and I'll zoom in here so we can see it a little bit better. Then I'm gonna come up here to the color palette. I'm gonna switch over to this yellow. Switching my brush here, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to brush number 4. And with that yellow, I'm just gonna kind of start to pull in that yellow color here, and you'll see that fur texture start to show. Just kind of letting up pressure as I go in towards the center. Then coming back here to the color palette again, I'm gonna choose this darker brown here and just kind of hit the backside with this one. Once again, bringing in that texture, bring it down here around the bottom. Just kind of start to build up that 3D effect here. Now coming back up to the color palette again, I can go ahead and switch over to this white. Kind of add in some more values here. Kind of bring that in on top of the yellow. I'll lighten my stroke as I come around here. And then coming back in with the black very lightly, I can just kind of darken in and bring out those darker colors that I already had in there. So there we go. We started with fur brush 1, moved to fur 4, and then if we want to add more texture, we can on top of that. So this is the cool thing too. You can combine these brushes together to just start building up more and more texture. For this, let's go down to fur 17. And then I'm going to switch the color back here to this brown on the far end of that top row. Start in with a harder pressure back here at the back and just slowly let up pressure as I go towards that front part. You can see how that brings that in. So we've got just a really nice shift in those values. Really kind of 3-dimensional look to this, really believable fur effect. So that's example 1. Let me go ahead and move this and shrink it down out of the way here. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new layer here. We'll choose a different brush. I'm gonna come in here now to fur 3. This one's kind of really wispy, messy fur, really loose. I'm gonna use this green color to start out with. We'll zoom in here again so we have it kind of bigger on the screen. If I press harder, I get more of that texture. If I do it lighter, you'll see it blends a little bit more and is a little bit less harsh. It's got more of a kind of lighter flow and opacity to the outside there. Now I'm gonna go ahead, coming back up here, I'm gonna set this as alpha lock again. I'm gonna come back to the color palette, choose this blue here, the second one in on the second row. Start to kind of bring in some of this color around. Start to build up that 3D effect. Bring it in towards the front there. And then once again, back in here to the color palette. I've got the dark purple here. I'm gonna bring that dark purple here around the back and fade that into that blue. And then finally, I've got this bright yellow that I can hit along this outer edge. Give a nice highlight there. Kind of bringing that in towards the center. If we want to, from here, we can come back in with a white like we did on the previous one. Just build up a little bit more of a highlight there. Just really get that three-dimensional feel to this. Now from here, once again, we can use another brush to go in and add more texture. So if I go to the brush library again, and I'm gonna go to Fur 15 down here. I'm gonna switch this back to that black, and I'm just going to lightly go around here. And once again, this just kind of darkens in some of those values that I had back here, just with that different brush. So once again, just combining those brushes, you get a totally different effect. So that's example 2. Let's go ahead with one final one. Zoom down here. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new layer. And for the color, I'm gonna switch to this brown here. For the brush then, I'm gonna go ahead and use fur number 10. And I'm just gonna build up a circle or oval here. You can see once again, get that nice texture there. If I press harder, it's gonna have more of that harder line around there. If I go lighter, it's going to kind of soften that up. Get that build up, and once again, I'm gonna go ahead and alpha lock this layer. Then coming back into the color palette, I'm gonna grab this darker brown here, start to come around the outside, build up a little bit of a shadow there, lightening the pressure as I get there towards the center. And coming back in here, got this other brown here, kind of pull that in, just like this. And then I can come back in with this lighter color still and hit those edges, bring a little bit there towards the center. You can see what we're left with there. So 3 different examples of what you can achieve. Like I said, there's so many different brushes and so much variety. I really urge you just to kind of grab them, play around with it, and see what you can come up with. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Also want to send a thank you to everyone that purchases this brush pack, as well as people that have purchased my previous ones. Every single time I release a new brush pack, I get tons of great feedback, and I love hearing it. So thanks so much for supporting me and supporting this channel. Also, if you guys make any designs with this pack and post them online, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, tag me at BeeJayDeL, because I love to see the work you guys create using my brush packs. And be sure to put a little note on the post that you made your design with the new fur brush pack, so I know that the pack's being put to good use. That's it for me. I can also be found online, BeeJayDeL.com. So until next time, keep creating.